Hey guys, Abid Mirza here again, and today I'm going to be looking and answering one of the common questions that are asked in the Upwork community. And that question is specifically, do you bill idle time? Now, what does that mean? Idle time? What it means is that when you are a freelancer, some of the clients may require you to install an application, and that application basically tracks the amount of hours that you spend and what you're doing during that time as well. So randomly, they'll take screenshots of your screen, and what will happen is that the client can view the screen whenever he likes, just to make sure that you're doing your work. Now, that's an interesting scenario for certain industries where there's a certain level of work that is required that may not be able to be displayed on the tracker. For example, I can give you two examples of this. Imagine you're a video editor, and your job obviously is that you have to edit and cut videos in order to make the final product. But a lot of time what happens is that as you're doing that process, at the end of it, you have to render your file. That could take anywhere from a few minutes, half an hour, or even an hour, depending on the size of the file. Now you're not actually doing work at that time, but still work is being done because you have to wait for that process in order to then go to the next step of your job. So what do you do in that situation? A better example of this is someone who's in the creative arts field. For example, painting, drawing, someone who's a writer. Now, you can't just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to write this. You have to take time conceptualizing the concept, thinking about what you're going to write about or what you're going to draw. And that scenario, that thinking part is also part of your job as well. And it's actually a significant part because the thinking, the brainstorming, and the research leads to what the creative output is going to be in the end. Now, for the individual who is your client, if they look at the screen, how would you on the time tracker explain the fact that, for X amount of hours or X amount of minutes, you had to actually spend time thinking or researching when in fact it couldn't be shown on the time tracker? To answer the scenario or to address the scenario, the next time when you have a client like that and you are in a specific industry like this, I have three solutions for you. Number one, what I would recommend is that you should absolutely bill these hours. A lot of times what people say is that, we shouldn't bill these hours. But I 100% disagree over here. The reason being is that that's still part of your job, right? Regardless of if it's time that can be shown or cannot be shown, but at the end of the day, you have a job and that job requires certain elements to be done. That could be the planning process, the production process, the thinking process. That's all part of the scope of work. So if that's part of the scope of work, you should 100% bill that, number one. So don't be afraid to do that. As I've seen some people say that they're not going to do that because they're afraid the client is not going to understand. So number one, that is your right. Number two, what I would recommend over here is that you should make sure to explain to the client in advance before getting the job that there's a certain element of your role, maybe 10% or 20%, that will not be shown on the time tracker app. So again, the thinking process, the creative process, it may not be shown, but is necessary for your job. If the client is aware of that in advance, then there's no reason for them to, once they've already acknowledged that and understood that, to say something afterwards when you do that. The third point over here is letting them know that this will happen, but more importantly, letting them know the benefit of this. And a classic example for this, imagine you're a writer and they expect that every single time you're on your laptop and you turn the time tracker app on, that you are writing and you are writing and writing and writing, trying to finish a project. Sure, you could do that, but the quality of work will be nowhere as near as good or as professional as someone who spent the right time to research, to think and brainstorm, and then write when they could conceptualize the idea and explain to the client that you want to give them the best work so that they get their money worth as well. Once they understand that this is for their benefit, they are less likely to create any opposition or to say that, maybe we shouldn't do this. So these are 3 points to answer this question. And I hope the next time this comes up, at least you have a bit more information in order to address the scenario. For more information and tips like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave a comment below if you have a question, and I'll be sure to answer it as well.